The Israeli ground war is imminent, and so is its spread to other parts of the world. Let's talk about it. Hey everybody, welcome back to Everyman Prepping. Thank you for joining me today. We have a very serious video to talk about today, and that's the invasion that's going to be imminent of Israel going into Gaza, boots on the ground, everything from soldiers, tanks, artillery, all that going in there. And what is this going to lead to? What does this mean for us here in the United States or Europe or other countries? Also, who gets involved? Iran, Syria, Hezbollah. We've already seen some action this morning as to what's going on, so we're going to get into all that. As we do, please, thanks for everybody that's been liking the video so far. If you could just like this button, that helps it get out to everybody out there. Share it on your Facebook, your Twitter feed, whatever you can. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. But let's get started here. So we get into this right away. Here we go with the Israeli forces entering Gaza for localized raids. Now, so this is what this means is they've already entered Gaza a little bit to do some probing, is what I take this at. They're not really doing any raids right now. They say it's not the main imminent ground attack which is coming, but they have entered Gaza to do some raids. It says the Israeli Defense Forces tell Fox News that its infantry forces and tanks entered the Gaza Strip Friday to conduct localized raid. Said they're looking for info on the kidnappers, some weapons, and whatnot. I think they're just probing to see what the defenses are like. If there's any Hamas there, what they can expect when they go in full force. It says Israel has about 360,000 military reservists ready to respond and to go into Gaza there. And as we've also probably heard, that they have told the northern part of Gaza they need to evacuate south of the Gaza Wadi. And I'll bring up a map here in a minute. But it says here that Israel has warned the 1.1 million people living in the north part of Gaza to evacuate the area within 24 hours as a humanitarian step in order to minimize civilian casualties. If you ask me, I don't know how you move 1 million people in 24 hours. That can't possibly happen, but that's what they're asking for. If we look at the map here, so this is the big map here. This is all of Israel, the West Bank. Don't pay attention. It says Palestine. This is Israel, Egypt, Jordan. So what we have here then is where they want them to go. This is it's a river, the Gaza River. It's also called the Gaza Wadi. But that's where they want people to move south of. There's about 1 million people in Gaza, a few more people in North Gaza. They want them all out of here going south. Will that happen? I don't know in that time frame, but if they come in from the north, maybe they'll get time for people to move. I haven't seen much movement yet. Hamas has told people, stay there. This is fake news. Don't leave. Stay. Of course, they want that because it's more of a human shield factor. So, they've been dropping leaflets and everything. Like it says, everything coming out is imminent. And you'll see that when I pull up my Twitter feed here, you'll see some of the stuff I have tagged, and we'll look at that. But also, another reason they're going in is Hamas has launched a couple long-range rockets. So, they were getting close to Tel Aviv and all that from Gaza. Well, they reached northern Israel, almost all the way up to the Golan Heights. So it says here that Hamas has long-range rockets that triggered sirens in North Israel. It says, in a new dangerous development, Hamas has demonstrated on Friday that it possesses longer-range rockets capable of reaching northern Israel. And this is a picture of it. It's called the Ayash 250. The 250 stands for the distance. I'm taking it's 250 kilometers. It says the IDF confirmed that one rocket fired from the Gaza Strip was intercepted over Haifa. And we'll look. Here's where it says that the range is. But here's Haifa. Here's the Gaza Strip. See, it's pretty far north. They never reached that far before. So, that's why they're doing this ground incursion, invasion, whatever you want to call it, because you need boots on the ground to take any land. That's warfare since the beginning of dawn, since there was war. You can't just bomb people into submission. You can't bomb a territory and take it. You need boots on the ground because you've got to eradicate, these rocket positions. As I don't know if you've seen the photos, but they have these rockets underground. All the missiles are stored in tunnels. There's hundreds of miles of tunnels under there. These rocket launchers that basically just the tube is barely sticking out of the ground. So are you bombing all that? No, you're going to have to go in there with boots on the ground to eliminate all that if you want to get rid of them all. And according to Israel, that's what they want to do, eliminate any military capability that Hamas has ever had and get rid of it forever. So that's why they're going in. And why it's going to be a very bloody, costly, urban warfare. That's all built up area. It's going to be very costly for both sides. You're going to see lots of heinous things coming from both sides, but that's what's going to happen. Let's look here at the X feed, formerly known as Twitter. some of the stuff that's happened most recently. This is as I'm making the video, it's 20 minutes ago. We got rockets once again being launched from Gaza into the settlements to the north. So like I said, Israel's been bombing basically a week straight of Gaza. You've seen the pictures, tons of devastation, tons of destructions, buildings everywhere. A week of bombing and thousands of sorties, yet they can still fire rockets. That's why you have to go in by ground. So this just shows you the part of Israel getting hit. Then we have here this one from OSINT Defender. It stands for Open Source Intelligence Defender, great source on Twitter or X to get news. But it says the United States has reportedly given the green light to Israel for them to conduct any operation in which they deem necessary in order to confront any threat on any front in any geography. So they're basically saying, do whatever you want, do whatever you need to do, get it done, green light from the United States. That's why they say the ground war is imminent. This is another rocket alert, more parts of Israel. This one's near Tel Aviv, I believe. Then we have the Iran oil minister coming out and says, it's been predicted that the price of oil will reach $100 per barrel due to the Mideast situation. Yeah, no kidding. Let's check that out really quick. Let's go here. And this is, so by the way, silver's let's turn it to the bars. You can see this. So this big green bar, silver's having a great day today. Same with gold. But let's get to the oil here. Oil, as you can see, this green bar is really rocketing up, but I think it's easier to understand when I put it back to this. So right now, the West Texas Intermediate crude is at $87. You see it cruising up. Highest it's been in a long time was 93. I could easily see it hitting 100. We'll look at Brent. Brent is up to $90. So yeah, when this gentleman says that, it's going to reach $100 a barrel, yes, it is. How does that affect you? Everything's more expensive. Do you have that extra fuel stored for your generator, your cars, your tools, your tractors, whatever it is? You might want to load everything up because, yes, it's going to get more expensive. What else does fuel make more expensive? Trucking, manufacturing, everything, inflation. It all affects it, especially if Iran gets involved in this and they close the Persian Gulf or just becomes hostile to trafficking, the fuel tankers through there. Watch out. So big warning there for you. Let's see what else we have. It says a Syrian journalist from the Golan Heights reported that the groups affiliated with the Iraqi Popular Mobilization Force, they were backed by Iran, it says, are entering Lebanon through Syria. So are we going to get Hezbollah? Are we going to get Iran soldiers, Iraqi, Syrian? A lot of people can get involved once, Israel goes in. They've all vowed to do it. We'll see what happens. But if it spreads this far, it's going to go even wider, and you might see the United States start getting involved directly. Let's see, what else do we have here? We have, according to multiple threats, the ground invasion is imminent. Yeah, we know that. And then we have IDF, is the Israeli Defense Forces, is currently striking terrorist targets belonging to Hezbollah in Lebanon. Yeah, so this morning there was artillery fire exchange between Lebanon, a small arms fire between Lebanon and Israel. They said they fired on Lebanese military positions, not Hezbollah, but nothing really happens in that area without Hezbollah's approval. So apples, oranges, whatever, one and the same. But they're firing into into Lebanon right now, so that's never good. Also, there were some reporters that were hit by an artillery shell from Israel. War is dangerous. One guy died, I believe. Were they aiming at the journalist? Probably not. But things happen. Things go awry. The artilleryman is a little off on his declination or his powder charge. Things happen. So, war is horrible all around. And what else do we have here? Saudi Arabia has ceased all further negotiations on the normalization of diplomatic relations with Israel. So that's no good. Trump had them on track. Israel and Saudi Arabia were opening embassies. We're talking. It was going good. All that's done now. It's over with, basically. Once again, a lot of this has to do with the BRICS. Iran's in BRICS, going to be in BRICS. Saudi Arabia, UAE, all that, Russia, China. So, it's splitting along those lines. BRICS, non-BRICS, BRICS West, it's happening. War's happening, all that. And then we have one last thing here that they've conducted localized raids. We talked about that, and I think that's believed where all we're at. What is happening now, there's no winners or losers in war. There's a lot of losers in war. You can't really say there's winners. But who's probably enjoying this the most right now is China. They see the United States occupied with Russia, Ukraine. They see occupied with the Middle East now. China's just sitting there stockpiling food, fuel. They're circling Taiwan every day, sorties, naval. They're just waiting to go. And they might be waiting to go as soon as, Israel goes into Gaza and that expands. it might be their time to go. Things happen in threes. You always hear that. Everything happens in threes. We got, well, Russia, Ukraine. We have Middle East now. We can have Asia Pacific. It's very likely. It's probable, is what I say out there. And once that goes down, you better make sure all your preps are done. You better make sure you're ready. I would say you better make sure you're ready now. But once that China flag drops, it's basically over. That leads to what I want to talk about here. Let me put it up. So I found this meme, and I found it very, well, not eye-opening, but very pertinent. So what we have here is, if you've noticed, Ukraine's probably dropped out of the news cycle. Mainstream media doesn't talk about it. Even alt media doesn't talk about it. Ukraine's kind of been tossed to the side. Here we have, this is from Toy Story. I don't want to play with you anymore. And the EU, this is the EU flag, is dropping Ukraine. That EU flag could be United States, could be the mainstream media. That EU flag could be a lot of things. Basically, no one's talking about Ukraine right now. So what does that mean? Well, Ukraine's going to have to do something to get back in the news. So, keep that open. That there might be something big happening in that front because they need to get back out front because they need weapons and money and armor and all that. And if it's all going to Israel and, that's the focus, they need to get back in the limelight. Zelensky asked, hey, can I go to Israel to show support? Okay, maybe he wants to do that, but hey, he needs to stay in the limelight also. He needs to stay in the forefront because that war's still going on. We had the pipeline from Estonia and Finland cut along with the communication cable. NATO saying, hey, if it's Russia, we're going to have to, react appropriately. Well, this is kind of what's happened. So expect something big in that theater too, because, they're not going to go silently and just, go to the back burner for the Israel-Gaza Palestinian war. So that'll be coming. That's something else to keep track of. What else we have here? Oh, you probably heard of this, and it's something that it's been debunked, but it's getting a lot of traction out there. There's a clip of the Emir of Qatar threatening to cut the gas supply to the world. That's proven to be fake news. It says here that nowhere in that clip does it mention natural gas or any other energy commodity being cut. But as you can see here, someone's saying here, the Emir of Qatar has announced that if the bombing of Gaza doesn't stop, he will stop the supply of gas to the world. So you're hearing that. For what I'm reading, as you can read here, it's not true, didn't happen. It's just more fear. But a lot of stories are going to come out like that. You're going to have a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of fog of war in a war. And there's going to be people trying to push an agenda, whether it be governments or whoever's fighting or corporations trying to gain off it. A lot of things like that will happen. So take this time, whatever time we have now, before, today also, Friday the 13th, is the, day of jihad. Palestinians called for around the world a day of, protests and all that. So, as we all say in the channel, keep your head on a swivel because who knows what's going on out there. If you have your defensive tool, take it with you if it's legally and all that stuff, and your state rules. If not, take something else that is legal with you, while you're out there. Have a talk with your children. We, in the family here this morning, we went through our rally points. What happens if, we're separated? What happens to something at school? We know what to do. We just went through it real quickly. So something to think about. But next few days, as this thing ramps up, do what you can to finalize your preps because, like I said, you never know when China's going to kick off or something happens here on the homeland because of, someone, was protesting, didn't like this or that, or some sleeper cells activated. Who knows? We just all need to get ready and, and watch out for each other. That's all I have for you today. If you have anything, put it in the comments, questions, comments, things you're doing to prep, suggestions, whatever it is, write it down there. And like I said, please like, share, and comment on the video. And until next time, for sure, keep your ear to the ground and head on a swivel.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.